My unsaved notes say 4, and I'm guessing we only had 1 day.
Yeah, that's 5. I just looked at it.
I also have new headphones, and
Nice.
my monitoring voice sounds weird to me now, so I have to get used to it all over again. And less nice, Paul. This is my 5th pair.
Nice.
Why?
Because
And
I
how
just
long?
what? No, just I collect them. Depending on how I'm feeling is what soundstage I want.
Okay.
Nerd.
Not even gonna argue with that one.
It's kind of like the pot calling the kettle black, don't you think?
I only
No,
listen
I
to
only have
Og
2 pairs of
Vorbis
headphones.
files when I listen to music.
I only have
Oh,
2 pairs of headphones.
Thank you for reminding me I need to queue up my D&D music.
I'm missing something. I literally just migrated a file and I can't find it. And I'm looking at the folder that I migrated it into.
What is this Age of Empires 2 background?
Why are you asking dumb questions?
Whoa.
What is it?
What
look
happened at
from,
the end of
really?
last session? I think it is Age of Empires.
Wow. That was a shot in the dark.
Oh no, it's Ashes of Creation. It's a Kickstarter.
Mm.
Oh yeah, I forgot we got fucking kidnapped.
Yeah.
Knocked
totally
out
spaced
and
that.
ambushed.
I remembered.
We the opening of Skyrim now, boys. You were trying to cross
Oh,
the
hey,
border,
you-
huh?
You're finally awake.
A Nord's last thought should be of home.
All right, well, while I sort out finding this file that I have misplaced, why don't you guys go ahead and start the recap?
Yeah, I guess I'll start it because I'm fucking dead. But I watched the beginning of the last session because Hank was nice enough to record it. I think it was Hank was nice enough to record it for me. Oh my god, how the hell did it start now? You guys ran across a minotaur or something? Is like basically the gist of how it began after like I mean, okay, whatever. The last thing that really happened that was big was you guys made it out of the I keep wanting to go to temple, but it's more like a tomb or dungeon or something of the Twice King.
Yeah.
And when you came out, you realized that shit's gone bad because there was dying stunties or dead stunties and like blood and just terrible shit everywhere. And basically, you guys rested, got your energy back, and the next big thing that happened, besides like talking and whatnot, was that you guys ran across a minotaur who was outside, who was like pouting a little bit, I guess, outside of his labyrinth because he was like driven out of it essentially, and you guys decided to help him after a wrestling match of I guess
had
that's
words.
Yeah, you had words. I guess that's how you like minotaurs talk, is by basically butting heads together and wrestling each other. And I guess that makes sense because why not? And yeah, I guess like I'll let Homer start talking more in depth about what happened because there's a point where I just don't understand what happened anymore.
Well, I mean, anybody can jump in here. We don't have to follow the strict format this time because it seems like some people don't have notes, and I pulled the entire session out of my ass. No, to illustrate this for everyone, I get a notification at like 10 p.m. the night before of like, hey, we're going to play tomorrow. Now, granted, I kind of initiated this. It wasn't like you guys sprung it on me. It was like, oh, I guess we're playing tomorrow. So it was a scramble of like, shit, what can I do that will work?
So
Mhm.
yeah,
It's okay.
just-
We had our
just jump
anime
in.
filler episode.
It kind
with
of
very real
fit though.
consequences at the end.
Weirdly, like honestly the thing that I missed is how you guys went from doing pretty good, and I'll let you guys go in more depth, with this like weird dude on a cross or something and a bunch of like blob demons that keep reproducing somehow, and then all of a sudden one of you is down, one of you's in a different dimension hitting crystals or something. Like, I don't know what the fuck happened in between, but like, yeah, I guess somebody maybe talk about the labyrinth stuff.
Yeah. So basically, someone had gone into the Minotaur's labyrinth, opened up a demon portal, and so he had to run away and gave up his immortality.
Classic
Um,
problem.
Yeah. So we go down there and like find the demon stuff, the people chained up that are like somehow tied to this demon magic, and we fight this. We have a first fight encounter that we win against one of like the frog demons. It's then later we go deeper into the labyrinth. The labyrinth kind of like every time you go down a path, it like reshapes. So if you went back the same way you just came, you'd wind up somewhere else.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So we got a little separated, but we managed to get together. And then we found eventually we find this gaping hole, which is theoretically where they opened up the hell portal to summon the demon. And then a fight started there.
I
And
see.
one of the creatures was like dragged me into that hole, which is how I ended up
Gotcha.
in the hell dimension.
I was like, why would Egg jump into another dimension alone? That seems so weirdly like specific for somebody who's afraid of water. To like just jump in a portal seems weird.
Yeah.
Well, you would be right about that.
But
No,
yeah,
things ended up going real bad because Egg got dragged in, and then the creature started crawling out and attacking us. And then Pedalin uses an Eldritch Blast with the eye power to push it back 10 feet, which knocks the thing that we're fighting back into the hole. But then she fails her charisma check,
Yep.
oh no.
which then summoned the demon out of her eye.
Yep.
Okay.
And I forget exactly how, but let's see if I wrote it down in my notes. So I kind of asked the demon to fight for us, basically, and I would try to grant it freedom from the eye,
Okay.
and then I collapsed.
Oh. Okay.
Dead. So.
Huh. Well
Yep.
then.
Is that all anybody remembers?
No. There's
Oh,
more,
okay.
but I kind of interrupted Stan, so I was gonna let
All right.
Stan take it over again.
I mean, like, there's not much else.
Oh, I
We
have
ran
more.
around. Well, we ran around between rooms a lot until we ended up in the room with the hole in it. So there was probably a lot more we could do, and we apparently took the hard way out by breaking the crystals in that hell dimension.
I did hear that there was an easier way. And then I was just like, of course they
Yeah.
took the hard way.
All right, so a couple of things before we got to the labyrinth. One, we did go back to Treetop and throw a great big funeral for Udinar.
Yeah, I thought that was
Basically-
brilliant, actually, as a way to, like,
Yeah.
kind of signal, like, hey, you should stop chasing our team down now because the thing you want's
Right.
dead. Yeah, that's kind of
Yep.
cool.
Yeah, so and Udinar got a good burial for that. And then we got the notice to go to try to find the labyrinth from the Devouring Edge, who vaguely remembered it from when he was with Dietrich the Deathless. That's kind of
Right.
how we went in search of it and found the pouting Minotaur and all of that.
Right.
on our way there, kind of while we were out camping or whatever, we had another encounter with the Thrice King, who came to visit me on my watch as a little bat, and then he, transformed into his other self. But
All right, your boyfriend visited you.
Yep, my boyfriend visited me.
Right. That meme started. Okay.
So apparently I have a boyfriend now who is a horrifying undead blood monster thing. Weird. Who knows. But basically we gave him Dietrich the Deathless's journal in the hopes that it would have more information about the Death Singer and his role in it for the Thrice King.
Mm-hmm.
And we told him about where Summer had said the Death Singer kind of lived way back in the day around Red Shore, kind of his like domain back there. And he said that he would return in a week after kind of studying and learning a little bit more about being the Death Singer, and if that would, be something that he wanted to do, and that when he returned, we needed to be outside at night, kind of out somewhere a little bit open,
Mhm.
and we would discuss it further. So
Mhm.
it has
He's like,
been
all right, I'll be a death singer. What's a death singer?
Yep, pretty much. So, and we're just all like, this could backfire at any moment. But basically, it has been a few days. I think the total count is 3, maybe 4 days at this point. Just kind of depending on how long we were actually in the labyrinth.
Mm-hmm.
But as thanks for getting the demons banished from the labyrinth, the Minotaur gave us a choice of 4 identical chests. We picked one. It had some cool stuff in it that we have yet to investigate. So hopefully some of them are pretty interesting items or magic items that we can have. And he also gave us a flute that, should we ever return to the labyrinth, he would know that it was us, and rather than trying to kill us, he would have like fun challenges and stuff set up for us. It's kind of more like a buddy trial, and
Sure.
for funsies.
Yeah, get the chips and soda pops out and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah, let's play Smash.
Yeah, exactly.
But
New game plus mode.
yeah. And inside the labyrinth, after the demon was summoned out of my eye, I said, if he would fight for us and help us get through this, I would try to find a way to free him from the eye. But he kind of said no. He would rather have vengeance on Mordrak instead, or as part of his freedom thing. But I collapsed before agreeing to that. And in my mind, it was like a hell no, but I kind of collapsed at the time. So now that we were out of the labyrinth, the demon's back in the eye. Obviously, nobody fully died down there, but we did get the heck beat out of us. And that is what kind of allowed these mystery persons to sneak up on us and knock us unconscious and throw us in the cages. Point of order, they took all of our stuff. So we're basically in burlap rags, and Minos, the Minotaur, is in another one of the rolling cart cages things, so we might want to try and save him as well, since he's going to continue aging and deteriorating outside of his labyrinth. So I think that's where we are, unless there's anything else that anybody wanted to add.
The person with notes saves us all.
Yeah.
My notes aren't the greatest, but I did actually keep them this time.
You can start with inspiration.
Woo woo! Yes. That's last.
So, other things of note, just little things that I wanted to clarify or touch on is, Minus the Minotaur had kind of talked about, how he'd been facing off against various adventuring parties for a long time, and that the group that entered that started all of the trouble, like they came through and he was stalking them, and they were working their way through it. like he was like tormenting them, slowly chipping away at their resources, and then like they laid a trap for him, began chanting, and like the floor of the labyrinth was rent asunder, and some great and terrible beast arose from the fissure and nearly skewered him. And so like it wasn't that he just like needed to run away, is that he got his ass kicked, and it was like if he stayed he was gonna die, and knew some weird shit was going on.
Yeah.
But as he escaped, the big powerful fiend like turned on its summoner and her party and basically flayed them alive.
Which is how we ended up with the people strung up on crosses within the labyrinth.
Right.
Yes. So, to put it in plain words, they had opened a portal to hell, and it backfired on them.
As it usually
does.
does.
Yeah, and this group, the Wolf Pack, or whatever you want to call yourselves, have now another bullet to add to their resume of closing a portal to hell.
Not bad. Let's see if there was anything else on here. No, I guess that's sufficient for now.
Okay.
So, expectations for the coming session. I think that we are going to have a heck of a time getting out of this wagon train, and even probably an even harder time getting out of this wagon train with all of our magic items, or even a portion of them, because obviously they're not going to want to deal. Well, I mean, maybe they will, but maybe they won't. Who's going to want to give away, such powerful relics, however? So my concern is, like, how do we get our stuff back, basically?
Yeah.
Okay. Who's next?
I feel like we're gonna encounter something that we get stuck at, and then it's gonna take like 3 hours for Paul to introduce his new character.
I don't think it'll take that long.
He could be in the wagon train. For all we know.
Maybe I'm the one who captured you.
Oh, God.
And then Paul murdered all of us.
As vengeance.
The end.
Yeah. And that's a wrap.
Well, good game, everybody.
Thanks for playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're gonna meet Paul's character, and we're gonna have a good old time.
It's a pretty safe guess there.
Yep. Pretty safe.
Yeah, I mean, clearly getting our stuff back is of point of order, but also, finding out who captured us, where we're going, who these people are, what we're gonna be doing, all that stuff's interesting.
I just had an idea. We could always just wait it out until the Thrice King comes back and have him murder everyone in this train and set us free.
It's not a bad call, honestly.
And Paul, hopes, dreams, aspirations.
I hope I get to talk about my character. That's probably like, okay. Realistically, I think we're gonna spend this session trying to figure out how to get away, it failing, and then plan B being what saves us.
That sounds very
as usual.
Have a plan B.
I mean,
Plan B is improvise.
Yeah, and it's usually because you guys put all of your eggs in one basket. It inevitably goes wrong somehow because it wasn't thoroughly planned, and then it's like, oh fuck, now what?
Yeah.
Basket's got a hole in it, letting the eggs out.
Yeah.
All right. So then we'll jump right in. Yes, the gang was captured at the end of last session. In their thoroughly weakened state, they put up some small degree of a fight. Maybe took a few members down, and but were easily captured, knocked unconscious, tossed into their cages. So you'll find yourselves riding along in a little bit of those old circus cages. I know that probably everybody has a mental image of what that looks like. The one that your group is in is segmented into 4, but only 3 of the locations are occupied, and that would be by Darby, by Pedalin, and by Egg. The wagon directly ahead of you has another single humanoid. The wagon directly behind you has Minos. You can make out other wagons, but they're kind of out of the way and hard to tell what's inside. You can definitely tell that there are other humanoids and other strange creatures. All of the members of the caravan themselves travel heavily robed or cloaked, revealing very little about their arms and armaments, except for the fact that they are all wearing full face masks displaying various creature heads. Nobody seems to really be tied to any particular thing. You haven't been able to make out a hierarchy of beasts. They're all just kind of random creatures. Some of which you would be familiar with and have seen before, and others never. This would be shortly after, like maybe a few hours after having woken up and realized, just kind of the situation, your surroundings. Yes, each of you has been stripped of your belongings. Everything that you owned is no longer a part of your character, with the exception of your skin, a burlap sack, and a pair of manacles that go from your wrists to your ankles. And those of you of a more magical persuasion will find yourselves unable to activate or access said magic. In doing so, you'll notice that there are some small red runes that flare up on the manacles themselves.
Well, dang.
Couple of questions about the cart that we are in.
Sure.
Does each segment have its own door that leads out?
No, there's only a single door that goes out. So to get to the back segments, either they have to they basically lift them, or they can open them individually internally.
Does having slept in this caravan count as a long rest?
It does not. I would say that you can consider yourselves as having short rested. So you can spend hit dice to recover HP.
I will do that.
I think I might as well. Let's see.
Dang, I saw a 12 get rolled there. I also saw a 1 get rolled there, but
Yep.
okay. Anything else?
Is there anything in the cart with us?
Just the 3 of you in your manacles and your burlap sacks.
No spare garbage laying around on the ground or anything?
No.
Can I see out the caravan?
Yes. Yeah. Despite the image in the background, consider the thing that you are in to be more of, like I said, that traditional old circus cage. So it's iron bars.
Okay. I yell at the nearest soldier guard walking by and say, "Hey, hey, 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 hi."
You will notice as they continue to ignore you that you actually haven't heard them speak a single word.
I then try yelling at them in Goblin. Like, yo, fucker. In Goblin.
No reaction from any of the hooded or cloaked members of the caravan, but Minos does give a strained chuckle.
Did
he
these
leans
people
up.
make noise when they die? Since we took out a couple.
No, they didn't. You'll recall that even as you or Egg like literally skewered a couple of them, they didn't even let out so much as a grunt. But they did bleed red. Minos will lean up against the bars of his cage and call out to you. But you notice that, like, for whatever reason, his voice almost sounds far away, despite him being immediately the next wagon in the train. And he says, "It won't do you any good." He says, "I even grabbed one that got too close and wrung its neck, but they won't say a word."
Well, this is a fine mess we've fallen into now.
Could be worse.
Well, I suppose it could have been the House of Scales that had found us, but these men don't seem to be with them.
I mean, they could have crucified us to open us their chests and filled them with crystals or whatever. That would have
Exactly.
been worse.
That would have been worse. These manacles are so uncomfortable. Yeah. I can't.
Could oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say I can't really cast anything like this. Oh, yeah.
There is another wagon ahead of you that has somebody in it. You could try talking to them, or you could talk amongst yourselves a bit more. Whatever you feel like.
Do we
Do the
have
manacles,
Go ahead.
Do the manacles have any sort of keyhole on them?
Yes, they do. Despite their seeming magical nature, it appears that they do, in fact, still have a mundane locking system.
Do we have any sense of how long we've been in the wagons? Like that we were unconscious?
Well, when you came out of the labyrinth, it was presumably dusk, and it is now somewhere well after dawn.
I guess follow-up question is can we get a clarification on how many days it's been since we spoke to the Thrice King? Because I think it was...
how would you know?
Well, it would have been half a day to Treetop since we spoke to him. Which then we spent the night in Treetop and had the funeral the next day. And then another half a day out to the labyrinth. So that was day 2. And so I guess this is now day 3, because I think we just went straight into the labyrinth and we didn't wait. So that would have been 2 days. And then we came out at dusk, and now it's morning, so this is day 3.
Sure, you
Does
can
that sound right?
assume that.
Does anybody else remember the timeline as being anything different than that?
You guys said
No,
at
we
the
don't
end of
know.
your last session
Okay.
to call it 3 days for now, until you know more.
Okay. Well,
Because we don't know how much time had actually passed in the labyrinth.
in the labyrinth. Okay, so
Yeah.
we're gonna vaguely assume. I'm gonna write the word vaguely. Assume that today is day 3. All right. I guess I'll whistle up at the cart ahead of us. The figure there. Ask him. Psst. Hey. Do you know who these people are?
He turns his head and simply says, "Oh, you're awake."
Uh,
So are you. Do you know where we're going or who these people are?
Yeah. They call themselves the Mad Masks of the Menagerie or some weird bullshit like that.
Mm.
It's a lot of words for people who are very quiet.
I thought the same. But basically, we're stuck here, probably forever. So, hi.
Hi.
Egg's so excited to say hi to somebody.
It's his move.
So what's your name? What are you in for?
What are you in for?
What are you in for?
What are you buying?
what are you selling?
Types like me don't necessarily usually have names. Most refer to me as Anin.
Sounds like a name.
I guess so.
But I'm Egg.
That doesn't sound like a name.
That's fair.
Well,
We
now
call
that you
him
guys
Egg.
are awake, I can tell you what you're in for. Basically, this group here is going to force you to do their dirty work. We're going to catch a bunch of things that they are going to parade around like they are parading us around. And then if you get out of line, they're going to kill you. Like the others.
Like, we have to catch a rabbit?
Like that. And then I'll point to the Minotaur in the other caravan. I don't know what you did to catch that one for them. But boy, that's a good one.
But he's our buddy.
I see.
We had words.
I see. And I just look back at it. Like, what? But yeah, as far as I could tell, seems like they might have been looking for you for a couple days. They got a trail a couple days back and been following it ever since. I'm guessing it's from you guys. You should hide your tracks better.
A trail from where? Were y'all near a treetop?
Nah, about a day or so out of it. When they turned around abruptly, I guess they probably figured something was going on.
Hmm.
All right, well, I'm going to go back to sleep. They're surely going to ask us to do some work for them soon, so...
All right, I hate to have to do this, but I'm gonna poke everybody with a goddamn broomstick and say, "Ask this man questions."
Well, I was gonna ask him where they're keeping our stuff.
I'm going to point up ahead and just say, I'm guessing probably where they keep all the other important stuff.
How are we supposed to catch things or creatures or whatever if we don't have our stuff?
Oh, see,
Hands.
that's the fun part. They'll give it back to you long enough to do the job, or they'll kill you if you don't.
They what you would know actually is that they have mundane equipment that they
Mhm.
provide, and if you do a good enough job, maybe sometimes you'll get some of your original equipment back to help.
Mm-hmm.
You
I've
gotta
seen
earn
it.
your way up the ladder.
I'm guessing you're factors. Seen a bunch of you come through here. Seen a bunch of you die to their hands. The even crazier ones have actually joined them, believe it or not.
How long have you been with the train?
When you're in a cage, days don't seem to really matter anymore. I would guess anywhere up to a week or two.
Are they just traveling to make money, or what's their modus?
If you've seen a few factors come and go, just based off how travel works, I'd say you're probably closer to a couple of months.
Okay,
than
couple
a
months.
couple of weeks.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it takes time to get a lead, track it down, and then catch it.
Not sure exactly why
yeah.
they're around, but sounds like this is one of possibly many caravans. This one apparently is going home soon. I don't know if I want to know what that means.
Oh Lord.
And also, just if you want to throw it out there, if you like, it makes sense to not measure your time in days, but you might measure your time in the number of times they've sent you out.
Oh, okay. Roughly how many times do you think that would be?
Your call.
Well, I've been out about 5 times now. And they kind of rotate us, so yeah, probably a few months.
Hmm.
What exactly is their goal with these trophies they collect?
Your guess would be as good as mine. I don't know much about the gods or what crazy men do, as I'm not one of them, either case.
Well, what did you do before you got captured?
I just kind of look at you as like, I was you. I looked for items, for money, for gain of popularity. You know, like I'm a factor.
And you've never tried to escape this place?
Oh, many times. You think I would just sit here? I've killed many of these people. They always seem to fill their ranks again somehow, and they don't seem to care.
Well, they obviously didn't kill you for trying to escape. So that's good to know.
Well, they don't seem to care about people trying to escape, because it seems like they know they're going to get us back. They seem to care more if we do a bad job. The ones that have been killed, let's just say that they tampered with the merchandise.
What?
They like stick a penny in their pocket?
No, they tried to release
One
the
for me.
creatures that they were there to catch.
Oh.
Usually executed on the spot. Those were the lucky ones. The other ones I just heard screaming.
Oof.
Why do they need other people to do their work if they can just murder so effortlessly?
I mean, if I knew that, I probably wouldn't be in these bonds with you, would I?
That's fair.
They don't seem to like they are ready to deal with any, like... Doesn't seem like they're willing to make any deals. In fact, it doesn't seem like they're the chatty type at all.
Do they ever do anything with the merchandise other than just keep rolling along in this train?
No.
Hmm.
Yeah, not that I've seen. I'm sure they have a plan, but Lord knows what that would be.
That's probably when they would quote unquote go back home, I guess.
I suppose so.
Mm.
I hope I never see home for these people.
Maybe it's nice.
Yeah, but it's probably not.
Ever the optimist.
Maybe they have soft beds.
Hey, here's a question for you fellows. Have you ever heard of something called a wren? A wren? A wren?
Hmm?
I don't know. It's the only thing I could get out of any of them. It seems to be something they hold in high regards. Revere of some sort. Do you know if it's some deity I haven't heard of?
A wren?
It's
Not
fine if you don't
ringing
know. The other
not
10
ringing
haven't
any-
known either.
Hmm. Udnar would have known.
Okay, well, where's he? Maybe we can ask him.
He died.
It's all my fault. And then Petalin just flops on the floor.
What's
And
her
it's all her
problem?
fault.
Oh, I see. All right,
We've
then.
had a rough week.
Okay, well,
Aaron,
Arin, I suppose.
Aaron.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I suggest you guys get some good rest. I'm sure we're gonna have a job soon. Maybe we'll be lucky enough to be partnered together. Been a while since I met some chatty ones.
Else, we'll never turn down a helping hand to stay alive, I suppose.
I'm just gonna kind of like lean back on my cage and close my eyes.
Sure.
I'm gonna lean into the two. Do you seriously trust this man?
I mean, I don't not trust him.
I mean, what's there to trust him about? We'll
Well, you
we'll
seem
see
so
if,
willing to take him at his word. Some
on.
shady fuck with no name, stuck in a cage.
He said his
Fuck
name
that.
was
His name is
Anon.
Anon.
Sounds like a name to me.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've noticed, but we're also shitty fucks in a cage.
Like, it's like we're not like giving him our stuff.
Yeah, we haven't really asked him for anything. I mean, we'll either see if he's telling the truth or not. I mean, based on how we're treated on this wagon train. But the best thing that we can do for now is if they do let us out of these cages, we should try to find a way, or one, try to find out exactly which of these wagons is holding our stuff, and B, if there's an opportunity to get out of here.
Look, the enemy of my enemy is not necessarily my enemy.
Yeah, what he said.
Is the group at a loss, or is there anything else?
I'm taking some.
Actually,
Other than attacking my bars,
I'm gonna give you something here.
I think Egg is at a loss.
What are you looking for?
Just
What
listening.
What is that for? Oh. Oh, okay. Sure.
That's a success.
Yeah.
I'll just kind of turn my head and say, shady fuck or not. I might be the only one that can get us all out of here.
Also, for the future, tell me what you want to do, and I'll tell you what to roll.
Okay. For sure.
That's it. Just to try and keep. I think it helps a little bit with keeping the flow of like the game going, rather than have you guys be like, I'm going to roll this, and I'm like, wait, why?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Egg would be trying to figure out if he can tell at all where we, like, what direction we're going based on the sun and based on like
Sure.
the geography or stuff.
So the first thing you'll notice is that the area that you're in looks starkly different from the area that you were in, and perhaps it would have been a good idea to ask this strange person who was willing to communicate with you how long you had been in the cart, because you aren't sure. Unfortunately, you didn't, but your immediate surroundings look a little bit unfamiliar. You can tell that you're headed south, though. And despite the bumpy wagon trail that you appear to be traveling on, for the most part, you can tell you're going at a pretty good clip, you're pretty good pace, and are covering a good amount of ground. For whatever reason, the group is slowly diverting from the path. So it looks like maybe they have a destination in mind. Anybody else? Anything?
I've been on this journey before. I'm just waiting out.
Yeah. Right. All right. I will take that resounding silence as a no.
Mm.
And so
It would-
after oh, go ahead.
Egg would do one other thing, which is yell out for the devourer, and then listen for it.
Ah. You shout as loudly as you can and just, crane your ears in the direction that was indicated by Annan, hoping to hear something. But unfortunately, only the sound of nature and the creaking of the wagons and the occasional roar or cries of other creatures. And that's all that comes back.
That ain't no
But-
god I ever heard of.
Uh,
Not one travelers usually yell out for.
I wouldn't
wonder if
describe
El-
it as a deity.
I hope he's not too hungry.
I look at you weirdly.
Well, he better not eat my stuff.
Yeah, I wonder if he'll get into anything. He's not one to just sit around. I mean,
Speaking
except
of
for all
hunger-
that time of sitting around in a cave.
Yeah, well, he didn't have anything to eat there. He had already eaten it
Yeah.
all. Speaking of hunger, it's not too much longer as you guys again are now pretty clearly no longer on a marked pathway, and like you can hear the snapping of tree branches and twigs and like the crunch of leaves and like even the like I guess like a wagon through snow doesn't make a very distinct sound, but getting pulled through the thicker, denser woodlands off the path. Eventually, you are approached, almost like appearing almost as though out of thin air. Just nobody seemed to notice them approaching you. There are 3 members of the masks that slide a bowl of kind of like an oatmeal paste in, and then also one to Anon, which would signal to Annan that you guys are about to stop soon, but that your group hasn't been selected for whatever it is that they're going to have you do, because those who get selected get fed something a little bit different.
Won the lottery again. I just start eating.
What is this?
What do you think it is? It's in a bowl. It's food.
What food? Egg pokes it.
It's a bland, very thick, almost entirely flavorless oatmeal.
I found it tastes a little bit better if you put your hand in, because then you get some juices off whatever your hand's been on.
Actually, not a bad
Do I
idea.
see him do this?
Yeah, like I'll put my fingers in and kind of like lick it off it just to get some flavor while eating it.
Like salt from sweat or whatever.
Or like a woody taste from like the bottom of like the base of the cage or steel, like whatever my hand's been resting on. Because otherwise it's just kind of like choking down gross mush.
Pedalin shrugs and follows suit, eating the mush.
Did they provide any sort of utensil?
No.
Just slop in a bowl?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I guess Egg sticks his hand in and starts eating and says, tastes like blood.
Like blood pudding. You may also notice that the 3 that, or the 4, I guess, that brought the bowls are actually standing close by watching.
Do they always do that?
Yeah,
Yes.
they like to watch.
God, that's super weird. Go away.
It's actually one of the
Ruining
more
my meal.
normal things they do.
What do you mean?
Have you seen how they act?
Egg says to addresses the people watching. Goes, hey, hi guys, how's it going? You doing okay? How's everybody feeling tonight?
Behind their masks, you are unsure if they're making any sort of expression. They just coolly and silently watch as you eat your meal.
I offer them
Eventually,
some of my meal. It's like, you want any?
I want to flick some oatmeal at him through the bars.
okay, you can make a dexterity check.
Okay. Dexterity. Oh, wait. Dice tower.
No, it doesn't have to be in the tower.
Oh, okay.
So Pedalin gets some of the thick, sticky goop on her fingers and just flings it between the bars at her observer. And you hear this little squelch as the thick paste slaps against the mask, and you're not sure what material it's made of, but just kind of sticks there. The observer, the mask, doesn't actually react to this. They continue to stand and watch. A few minutes later, regardless of whether or not you have finished eating, they approach and extend their hands, and you'll notice that Annan quickly like puts his bowl down and slides it back toward them.
I'll give him back a bowl of uneaten slop.
Egg holds his bowl in one hand and then goes in for a hearty handshake. The hand that's been asking for the bowl.
Right? As the mask's hand reaches out and touches your own, you feel a pain chill, like almost like you'd reached out and put your hand on permafrost, as their skin touches your own, like cool, smooth porcelain. This causes you to drop the bowl, which clatters against the bottom of the cage, and its own hand quickly reaches out and snatches it and pulls it away before retreating.
Told you the
Well, I
watching's
learned.
more normal things they do.
Well, gotta learn somehow. Learn by doing.
The member that retrieved Darby's bowl looks at the bowl and looks at Darby and kind of like does the no face gesture of like nudging it toward you and kind of like nodding a little bit and gauges and awaits his reaction.
I'm just gonna ignore the guy.
You see them give a very human shrug and dump the bowl of porridge onto the ground before kind of melting back into the caravan. Even if you watch them carefully, you'll notice that you have a very difficult time keeping your eyes focused on them as they just kind of slink back into formation of the caravan itself. Pedalin, you didn't clarify what you're doing with your bowl.
Well, I just ate it I ate all the rest of it really quickly and then handed it back.
Okay, so they take their bowl back, and you'll see the one with the porridge on its mask just kind of melt away as well. There is a single horn blast that is called out from up ahead, and you'll see that the wagon train begins to circle itself. And this is the first time you've had a good chance to get a glimpse of just how impressively long this thing is, as you can count at least 30 wagons they're like cages like your own, and then several more that are more covered and traditional, and you can make out like chests and various things and supplies inside.
Ooh.
As the circle completes upon itself, you'll see a group of masks approach one of the cages with two more masks behind them, carrying a large chest. They open the chest, and you see that as it opens, it kind of like has layers inside of it that they can pull out that all folds into itself. And basically, they have opened up a form of an armory. You see in one chest are just like weapons of all shapes and sizes, and then another chest after that is various arms, and then another chest is various bits of little equipment. And so once they have all of those open, one of the masks goes up to the cage, opens it up, and pulls a group of 3 humanoids out, also wearing clothing similar to your own. You see that they remove their manacles while keeping them easily surrounded, and then gesture to the equipment. You'll notice that the 3 the 3 burlap-clad figures quickly scramble forward, make claim to a couple of different items, start donning armor, grab some various little knickknacks, and then it's here that you hear a strange bellow and feel the earth shake slightly. Give me a perception check.
Oh, this is my favorite part.
A lot of 2s. And you can also oh, you did. Who did I not get?
Oh, me. There you go.
Pedalin and Darby are the only 2 to notice that there appear to be several crumbled stone statuettes nearby. Like you can only just kind of make out that maybe they were legs at one point in time. You can see a few of them that are knocked over. You're pretty sure you see like what looks to be a head turned to stone. And it's here that your eyes kind of like follow the gaze forward and follow the path forward to this large cave in the side of a hill, which seems to be the source of the bellowing and the shaking of the earth as a strange green gas oozes out of the opening, like a cloud of green. There are no questions, then the 3 now armed and armored factors are prodded forward slowly but purposefully towards this cave opening, and before too much longer you see they disappear inside. You now have a few hours to talk amongst yourselves if you so choose, or if nobody has anything to say, I'll skip ahead.
Do we want to make bets on how many come out?
How many do you think are going to come out?
I think 3. However, one of them will not be one of the ones that went in. It'll be whatever they're there for.
Sounds like a pretty safe bet.
I only
That
make
sounds
safe
high.
bets.
I'll take the under.
What are you willing to trade? In case you are correct.
I've got this burlap sack.
Your bowl of porridge next feeding.
Actually, you might actually go for, if he is selected, taking his whatever they give you for whenever you're being selected, or if he's selected and successful, whatever the reward is. Those are a couple of currencies that you might be willing to trade.
Those are like kind of the jailhouse currencies.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll put that offer out there.
Sure, I'll bet whatever armor they offer to give me.
Well, it would be like your chosen meal or whatever. Like, you're not sure what they get rewarded. So he's saying you can either give me your chosen meal, or you can forfeit your first reward for a successful hunt.
I'll forfeit my chosen meal.
You're on, buddy.
All right.
So, if I'm hearing this correctly, Egg is saying that fewer than 2 of the 3 that went in will return. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying 2 will return with whatever creature. So 3 total back, yeah.
Okay.
I want to ask him what they're going to get rewarded if they are successful.
It would vary based off their own like status within the caravan. So like similar to gladiators, the better you do, the higher your status. You actually get to ride closer and closer to the front of the wagon train. But
Here's a
some of the
question
things
for
that they
you,
give,
then.
sure.
Do I recognize the people that went in? Would I know their status?
Let me finish where I'm going first, but then
Okay.
I'll answer that question.
Mhm.
So, like, some of the things they might give you are like forms of entertainment. So like a deck of playing cards, or maybe even just like some sweets, or they might let you out of your cage but still manacled for a few hours. Things like that. And then for this group, yes, you would recognize them. They are newer, and this is probably their second or third time out.
Okay.
They originally started as a group of 5.
Okay.
Anything else? Anybody?
Nah, I want to see how this bet pays off. Or
Are the
Fuck's sake.
cages we're in like tall enough to stand in?
Not comfortably. Like Pedalin would be fine, but they're like
Haha.
5 feet tall.
okay, Egg has definitely contorted himself in there. Then is like lying on his back with his
Mhm.
foot in the air, legs in the
Mhm.
air.
Yeah.
I want to ask.
Like he's
And
perfectly
how-
comfortable, but you look at him and you're like, that can't be comfortable.
Sure.
I want to ask Ann and how long we were passed out in the wagons.
Mm,
How many
2,
sleeps?
3 days.
3 days.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
3 days. Oh God.
Give or take.
Did you see a bat during that time?
I've seen many things during that time. I'm sure a bat was somewhere.
Oh no.
All right. Several
I did
hours
have,
later. Oh, go
Something
ahead.
I wanted to check out.
Sure.
Darby's gonna stand up to the best of his ability, like head cocked,
Yeah.
and piss outside the cage.
Okay.
And while doing so, try and like get a general sense of the number that we're dealing with, since we're stopped and circled.
The number of masks.
Mm-hmm.
Make a perception check. So you slowly start, like at first you're kind of slowly counting the number of cloaked and hooded figures that have gathered around the massive wagon train, and multiple times you're like, wait, didn't I count that one already? Or did I count this one? And there's like the sheer fact that they all look almost identical unless you can make out the mask that they're wearing, mixed with the fact that for whatever reason you just are having an immense difficult time focusing on any single one in particular when it isn't approaching you. You just keep running into the same numbers, or double counting, and your best guess is somewhere between 10 and 50.
Lovely. All right.
So several hours later, you like the quaking and groaning and rumbling of the earth has kind of stopped, and emerging from the cave, you'll actually see all 3 of the original factors, and carrying behind them, or dragging behind them, a large chain that they entered with, and out comes. Let's see how best to describe it. What looks to be a bull or an oryx, but entirely plated in iron. And as it snorts and stamps its feet and pulls against them, you'll see that it gives that same green vaporous gas. In fact, of the 3 factors, you'll see that one of them very clearly is now missing like an entire chunk of their hand, but it looks cleanly broken off rather than like a slice or a bite or anything like that. And you can see just like gray, just like a very, very heavy gray tinge to the skin as they draw closer, like they draw past your caravan. But they drag the beast in chains to the center of the wagon circle, drop their chains, and very quickly begin to disarm and disarmor themselves. At which point they are reapproached, remanacled, and brought back into their wagon.
When they come out, I start just like banging on the thing, just like cheering.
Awesome. One of them looks over to you, still maintaining a bit of their composure, and just kind of gives you a nod and a smile as though they too are proud of their accomplishment. They will climb back into their cage. They're, like I said, they're remanacled. A few of the masks approach them with what looks to be like a nice, heavy, hearty meal. And the creature is dragged past you for a second time and loaded into one of the empty cages within the caravan.
Well, friend, it seems we were both wrong. As such, we will both give each other our meals.
All right.
That's very fair of you.
From here, the caravan is going to start moving again. And this is a point where Annan might point out that the caravan doesn't stop. Like there's no drawing up at night and making a big fire or anything like that. So it's just on the move again.
Mm-hmm.
Do they never sleep?
Not from what I can tell. Or they're always sleeping. I haven't decided yet.
You guys might also consider asking him how he knows the information he knows, since they apparently never make noise. All right.
How did you get the word Aaron or Oran or Aren or whatever out of them?
So I'm going to answer here, since this isn't something that Paul and I went over. But effectively, in the months that he's been here, he has had the opportunity to work with a variety of factor groups the times that he's gone out. And supposedly, the lead factoring group, or the lead hunters, those that ride closest to the front of the caravan, have, like, this is third-hand information. They claim to have heard them speak, and they claim this information. But those at the front don't typically last long, because they're chosen for the highest profile hunt.
Awfully flimsy information, don't you think?
I'm sorry, did you have more that you would like to share for information? Or are you in the same position?
In fact, Annan is so far back in the caravan, likely because of his escape attempts.
Well, you're at the back of the cart with us as well, so where does that put you?
The one that has survived more than my single hunt, of which I've been on many.
I mean, it does sound like being at the front is maybe not where you want to be.
Or maybe it's exactly where we want to be, because that's where they're keeping our stuff.
I like the way this one thinks.
How important is stuff, really?
Egg or factors. Stuff is very important.
I'm gonna shake my manacles. I'll leave that up to you to decide, I suppose. I'd rather have stuff than this.
I mean, I would rather not be in a cage. That's for sure. But there
Aren't
are
we
different
all
kinds
in
of
cages? Yeah.
Despite all my rage.
Your mind is a cage, man.
You're still just an egg in a cage?
Yep.
Uh-huh.
All right. So, as the caravan continues onward and time kind of seems to pass as a blur, you continue to be fed at semi-regular intervals. You eventually come to your next stop. Once again, the horn blows, and once again, you find yourselves not chosen. A different, or rather, the same group of factors is selected once again. They get out, and this time you notice that one of the chests they bring over is much more decorated. And so as they open it up, you can see that the weapons and armor inside are clearly a cut above, like just of a superior quality, perhaps even magic. A couple of them literally glowing, and so this group of three reaches out, and as one of them takes one, another one approaches to take it, and they are quickly brought to their knees by a whip that seems to materialize out of thin air from one of the masks. And the chest is snapped shut, so it seems they only got to choose one. They once again outfit themselves, and this time you find yourselves near what looks to be like an old, like a crumbled down, almost castle sort of thing. And they get sent inside, and a few hours later, nobody comes back. And so the night comes and they still haven't returned. And so you hear a second horn blast. This time 3 are blown.
Well, that can't be good.
Hubris. See what magic items got them. Or a magic item.
We don't have time to be sitting around. We got to figure out a way to get out of here.
Since nobody thought to ask, I guess we'll keep going. So the 3 horn blasts sound, and you'll see that another cage is opened and another group of factors are dragged out. These look much more scared. There are 4 of them, and like they don't have that bravado. They don't have the fun seeking outlook that the other ones seemed to still carry. They look cowed and meek, but they do eventually arm and armor themselves and head into the old crumbled castle.
Do they also
And-
get magic items?
No,
Mm.
but
See,
they,
I like
they
their
head.
chances better.
You'll be fine, I yell and stick my arm out.
All right, they head inside and are gone for a couple of hours. While they're gone, I need perception checks from the 4 of you.
Okay.
Man, a lot of 2s on perception tonight. Egg is the only one who notices that there appears to be a small creature watching you not too far away in the trees, hanging upside down from a branch. Looks a bit batty. Just calmly observing you.
Psst, psst, Madeline. Madeline.
What?
It's your boyfriend.
Oh God.
He's here. He found us. Oh, God damn it!
Egg
We gotta
subtly
get out.
points.
Gotta get out in the open. He'll never talk to us like this.
I mean, we're not out in the open.
Oh, please. We're surrounded by
open
weird,
air.
creepy magic people who don't talk.
Yeah. But they're like not being surrounded by anyone too. Like whatever. You're being watched. It's like being watched by a rock. It's fine. It's like a rock that might kill you, but you know, whatever.
You pipe
Egg
down
has
over there. I'm
decided-
trying to see how many of them die.
Why?
I.
Are you like into them dying? I'm confused. You were cheering when the other one succeeded.
The others
The ma-
weren't pissing their pants like these were.
I think
Do
that's
they
why they
all-
have a chance.
Do they only communicate through the horn blasts up and down the train? That's
Are
for Annan.
I mean, communicate might be
uh,
a strong word, but
Have you learned what the different horn blasts mean?
Yes. 1 means that you've arrived for a hunt. 3 means that a hunt is deemed a failure, but replacements are being sent in.
Does can failure both mean they died or ran away?
It just means that the hunt is a failure.
it's the same.
Mhm.
Yep.
I'm going to wave at the little baddie creature that Egg pointed out to me.
Okay.
And-
As you wave at it, it dislodges itself from the tree and flutters over to you.
I'm just gonna-
Annan, make a perception check.
Okay.
I'm going to say to it, I haven't forgotten our appointment, my lord. Just a little occupied at the moment. We'll try to get out into the open where we can speak soon.
Darby's just sitting there rolling his eyes.
You guys? And I just kind of, like, whoever looks over at me, I'm just going to point something out.
I'll look over.
You'll see that what I'm pointing at are some masks are coming closer than maybe was expected.
You should make yourself scarce, my lord. I don't want you falling in with this lot. They seem dangerous.
Why are you talking to that flying rodent?
I don't remember talking to you at the moment. I'm a little busy now.
Can he talk in bat form? Let's see.
I'm basically just trying to tell him that I don't want
Oh,
him
no,
to get
it won't-
captured.
Okay, it can't speak. So it lets out several little squeaks and begins to flutter away. And just as it does so, you notice that your caravan is surrounded by what looks to be like at least 6 or 7 of the masks. Though as soon as the bat disappears, they also quickly disperse, melting back into the night.
Interesting.
That was no
Great
ordinary
fuss.
bat, was it?
What do you think I just call flying rodents, my lord, for no reason?
I mean, I don't frankly care what you do on your own time. However, these creatures are people or whatever. There's something
They're-
special about that, and you might want to be mindful of bringing anything special around these folk.
They're attracted to magic, aren't they?
I don't know what
That's how
they're
they picked
attracted
us-
to, but it's definitely not regular goods, I'll say.
That's how they picked up our trail. That's how they found us while we were in the labyrinth. They can sense the magic and they're drawn to it.
They're just lonely and looking for companionship. They're jealous of what you and the bat share. Your bond.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Egg, as long as I am quote unquote bonded to that bat, it's not murdering everyone. So
Well,
let's
maybe it should be. Huh? Huh?
well, I'm by everyone I meant the 3 of us.
Oh. Okay.
So sorry.
I'm starting to regret talking to this group because they are obviously more insane than the situation we're all currently in.
Apparently.
Let's just
Okay.
say, I'll turn to Anon and say, let's just say that you're right. That is not just an ordinary bat, and it's very dangerous. So,
It definitely seemed that way. And I'll
Well,
It
just
is a
turn
kind
my
of
head.
bat man.
Oh, god damn it.
it's it's important for the safety of the region that we escape.
I'm sure it is.
And
It's also
any
the
help.
safety for the universe that I escape.
Well, then why don't you pair up with us, and then all four of us can get out and save the region and the universe.
Friend, if I knew how to get out of here, we would not be talking.
But that's when you're alone. If you work with the three of us, many hands light work.
I agree. Tell you what, we find a way out of here. We make sure we all four get out. And maybe some of the others if we can convince them.
A deal, I think.
Yeah. Like to
But
save
I'm not
our
giving you any of my food.
Minotaur buddy.
I need not any of your food.
Okay.
Sometime later, the four factors that entered the castle reemerge, though you can tell by their demeanor that the something is not right, as they seem to be carrying behind them the corpse of a great snake, as it is no longer moving and certainly not thrashing around like the chained bull was. As they exit, they fall to their knees, as like clearly something is not right, and they are approached by several of the masks, and you can see that they are snapped up, and several of the masks kind of gather around the large snake, and you can see them gesturing furiously to one another. Though again, you can't make out or hear any sound coming from them. Perhaps the most human or lively you've seen them since having been captured. They eventually kind of finish their gesturing and point at the group, and you can see all four of the factors kind of cower back a little bit, but three of them kind of push one more forward. And even though you can tell that they're like pants pissingly terrified, this one kind of steps up and lifts their chin, and you can see just like a little bit of proud defiance as they are jerked forward by the masks, dragged to the center of camp. A stump is produced, their arm is laid across it, and with like just a cold, emotionless, no ceremony, severed at the shoulder and removed. They then take that arm, drag the factor, and force them to hold it and feed it to one of the beasts in the cage. Then,
That's not very
as
nice.
as the wound is bound and the factor is cast back into the cage, you see them drag yet another of those more elaborately decorated chests out. They bring it before the factors, open it, and draw forth a nice, like, beautiful shield. It's got a gleaming gem in the center, and you can hear the cries and wailing of the factors. They're protesting and crying no and please, anything but that. And you watch as the masks just destroy the item, and there's a burst of energy as the magic within is released, and all that's left is just a disintegrated pile of ash where it once lay. They then close the chest, return it to the front of the wagon, and after a few more minutes, the caravan begins, lurches forward and begins moving again.
That seemed like a waste of a perfectly good relic.
If nobody else has anything to say, then you are allowed to sleep.
Yeah, my character is disheartened at all of this.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you've seen this punishment before. This is the kind of thing that happens when the target or
failure.
the hunter is killed. Yeah, it's not it's not often death because the factors aren't exactly a plentiful resource, but harsh punishment.
Yeah.
That just seemed like a waste.
A waste, or just another way to keep us in these bonds?
Now a new day. The caravan has been traveling for quite some time, still south, though slightly southeast.
Sorry,
You
Sorry, I was muted and I was trying to ask why they would destroy the magic item.
Are you asking me or the DM, like what my character would think?
What your character would think.
Best I could tell, the less good items there are to go around, the less reward there is for a good job. Just kind of hurting us all in the long run. Making an example.
You would also notice that, even in the times you've been out, and you've been out 5 times successfully, so you've actually been granted a magic item maybe once or twice. They always seem to return your magic items to you, so they know what belongs to whom. And that's maybe your perception or your inclination is that they clearly aren't here for the relics.
Right. This is kind of like holding a toy over a child that they love and breaking it in front of them to like break their spirit.
So they're not after relics. They're just after...
The relics seem to be a means to an end. They know that we need tools to get the more important hunts. They seem to care more about what we bring back than anything we had on us or any items we find.
All right. So a new day, and again the caravan's still carrying that steady, heavy clip. Oddly enough, you'll notice that none of the wagons seem to have had any sort of trouble breaking down or anything like that up to this point. But again, you hear the single horn blast, and this time, brought to your cages, are a feast of meats and nuts and berries and just like various food that is well beyond the caliber of the gruel you've been eating.
Oh no.
I try to explain to them that me and Anon have to trade.
They don't seem interested in the words that you're trying to share with them, but you'll notice that Anon is also having been brought the same.
Hey,
so they'll point at Anon, and then they'll point at the group, and then they'll just kind of merge their fingers together.
I start just stretching and like cracking my like joints.
Perception check, please.
From all of us?
Yes. Darby, Anon, and that's it. Edelyn, did you not roll in the tower?
Oh, sorry.
Okay. So yeah, Darby and Anon, who's probably noticed this before, we'll see that they appear to have like 2 left hands rather than a left hand and a right hand.
Yeah, I guess I just don't comment on it because I would have noticed at some other point, probably.
Yeah. I don't make a deal of it because they're already creepy as fuck.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I guess it's better than having 2 left feet.
Yep.
So Egg and Petalin fail to notice, but they merge their fingers together and they gesture for basically the two groups to work together. And this is maybe the second time you've seen something like this. You're pretty sure that honestly, they're not looking for you to buddy up with them so much as they need your cage.
Right. Okay.
So you're getting sent in, and either this is you're going to get sent in to die, or they, so they can clear out the cage, or you're going to work together and you're going to have new roommates.
Right.
So as the four of you effectively feast on the meats and things like that, does everybody eat?
Yes.
Egg is very
Oh,
insistent
God, yeah.
that they still have to, Annan and him still have to trade food,
Sure.
even though it's the same.
Sure.
I agree. But I'll tell you what, we'll work this out when we are sharing the same area. This is not our reward. This is technically not our reward feast. This is our preparation feast. We will make good on our deal. I swear to you.
I thought you guys were going to exchange hunt food, so that would be this.
I just don't know how we're gonna do this. I'm not throwing my food away.
Just
See, I
throw it
thought
through
that's
the
what I was
cages.
expecting. Throwing it between the cages.
Egg was ready,
Food fight.
but he'll take this compromise. This is
Okay.
more practical.
Yeah.
So is everybody eating? I didn't get a confirmation.
Yes.
Yes.
Egg will eat.
Mm-hmm.
I guess at this point it's been a few days, huh?
Yes.
Can't keep putting off gruel. I guess reluctantly, yes.
Okay. So everybody will notice the food tastes slightly off. Just like something about it doesn't seem right. It doesn't, like, it's filling and fine, but just something about it is a little bit weird. But you finish your meals, you are brought forth from your cages, and they're going to bring out equipment. And as they do so, this is the first time you will have observed this. You're approached directly by one of the members who hands you what looks to be like a piece of bark with a carving on it. And Anna knows exactly what this is, but you'll notice on the carving looks to be like a shape of a creature of some sort.
This is our contract, right?
It's your target.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like this is what they want you to go after.
So I'll explain that to them. I'll just
Sure.
say, take a good look.
Um,
That's what we're going for.
It is a three-legged creature with what look to be long, like three additional long, maybe tentacle-esque appendages, a gaping maw full of teeth, and at the end of its appendages are spikes as well. In the center appendage, it looks like they've drawn several little circles, which you're not you're not 100% sure what those might be.
Is there anything I could roll to see if I know what it is?
Yeah, you can make an intelligence check.
Damn it. Okay, hold on.
You don't know what it is, but you do know that one of these was hunted recently. Like maybe it was one of the first or second things you saw as part of the caravan, but the group was unsuccessful in capturing it alive.
All right, well, second time's a charm.
Anybody else want additional description or?
Just asking Anon if he knows anything about it.
Yeah, it looks like this, and I'll point at it.
Cool.
All right, so you may arm and equip yourselves with any mundane gear. A single weapon, or I'd say 2 weapons, armor of your choosing, and up to 3 Molly, Jesus fucking Christ. Did you guys hear that?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. What? What do you want? That was obnoxious. Anyway, 3 like random adventuring items.
Okay.
Okay.
I have a question for my... Okay, I mean, I'll just go, because he knows what he's going to go for. I outfit myself in some leather armor that looks like it was probably worn by a few different people, so it doesn't fit tightly, necessarily. Like, it's kind of like parts of it, like, where more muscly people, like, different body shapes and stuff were in it, are, like, kind of, like, a little floppy, and some other parts are tight. A longbow that looks like it's kind of just barely hanging together. And how many, like, I guess ammo can I have? Would they give me with it?
20.
So like a quiver?
Yep.
Okay. The quiver doesn't count as part of my adventure gear, right?
No.
Okay. So I'll take that. Do they have a hand crossbow?
Yeah, if you want one.
Okay. So
But you only get 2 weapons, so.
yeah. So I'll take longbow and a hand crossbow, both with bolts and bow and arrows rather. And
Okay.
3 adventuring gear. Shoot. Okay. Let's take a torch, a hammer, and some rope.
Okay.
How much rope is it that they would give me?
50 feet. 50 feet.
50 feet of rope.
A single coil.
And is it just 1 torch, or could I get like maybe 2 or something?
They'll give you 3.
3? Okay. Okay, that's it for me then.
Anybody else?
I'm just pulling up the adventuring gear, whatever.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a halberd and and 1 javelin for my weapons. I'm thinking about the adventuring gear.
Okay.
What constitutes as mundane?
Non-magical.
Okay, so pretty much whatever out of the weapon list.
Yes.
I'm sorry, can I change my answer quickly? I just wanted to try
Sure.
something, and this seems like a good opportunity. I'm going to switch out my hand crossbow and 20 bolts for a whip.
Okay.
I want to try a whip.
All right. So I have egg and anon.
How much ammunition did he get for his light crossbow?
20.
20. You get
20?
you get a single like quiver.
Right. Okay. I think I will take some leather armor. And for, you said 2 weapons or 1 weapon?
2 weapons.
2 weapons. I'm going to take a dagger and a light crossbow. My 20 bolts. And then I'll have my adventuring gear handy in just a second.
Okay.
Gonna take leather armor and a rapier. And then as a second weapon, I'm gonna take bow and arrows.
What
That
kind of bow?
Doesn't matter. I'm in it for the arrows.
Okay.
I'll take half plate armor, a torch, and a compass.
Okay. You do notice that they are sending you into what looks to be like there's a small, not really like a cliff, not really a mountain, but bigger than a hill, with what looks to be like maybe a temple built into the side of it.
So we've got somebody with a rope, somebody with a torch. And you said it was it 5 magic items? Excuse me,
What?
5 5 adventuring gear or 2?
3.
3.
3. I don't know where I'm getting these numbers from.
5 minus 2 is 3, so you were kind of close.
Mm.
You were somehow in the ballpark, sort of.
Mm. Okay, I'm gonna take a healing kit, a tinder box, and an oil flask.
Okay.
Or rather, oil, I should say.
Yeah, which would come in a flask.
Yes.
Okay.
Would the healing kit have bandages in it?
A healing kit.
I'd have to look at a healing kit.
Bandages, salves, and splints.
All right. Everybody good?
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you are led to the entrance of the temple, and it is here that each of you are handed a necklace, and Annan, being used to this, will put it on.
What is it?
Insurance.
Can we not put it on?
Good try.
Yeah.
Well, what's it for?
I'm assuming this
It's
is to make sure
insurance.
that this is their way of knowing we won't run, right?
It's basically an observation. So you can always say you want to take a look at things closer when I hand them to you.
Yeah, I'll
Okay,
inspect
well,
it.
I would like to do that.
All right, perception. Actually, you don't even need a perception. You're literally holding it in your hands. It is like a gold amulet that's kind of a squished diamond shape, and then in the center is an eyeball. And you'll notice that when Annan put his on, the eye opened.
Ooh.
The GoPro, essentially.
Yeah.
Can I put it around my ankle instead of my neck?
How? How would you affix it there?
I don't know.
I
Or
don't
my
really
upper
trust
arm?
I don't really trust amulets that have eyes in them.
Yeah, well, you don't even have an eye in one of your eyes.
They got my eyeball out?
Yeah.
Nobody told me this.
I said you have nothing. Burlap sack.
I got an eyeball in my skull.
You have one, yes.
Egg, why didn't you tell me I was missing an eye?
I mean, you know, I
never
try
tell
not
a
to
lady
look at
she's
it.
missing an eye.
That's okay. I
That's
would have been able
rude.
to. I would have been able to tell that I was missing it by the fact that
Yeah.
I can only see out of one eye.
Correct.
Okay.
Sorry that I wasn't more clear in that literally all of your stuff.
Well, I mean, that one was in my skull, so yeah, that would have been nice. A nice clarification.
That's pretty funny. I didn't even consider that, but yeah. You hide it well, for what it's worth.
Thank you.
You should have asked for an eye patch. It's one of your items.
I'll use one of my
No,
items to get her an eye patch, because
No. You can. I can use the empty socket to help me intimidate the monster.
there you go.
I mean, when you stare into the void stares back.
Yeah.
So everybody wears their necklace, yeah?
Yeah.
And you don't really have a choice.
Yeah.
So, as you do so, and the eye opens, you'll notice that there's like a thin, like translucent tether that goes from it to something that you can't see behind you. But once everybody's kind of equipped and armed, they usher you toward the doors, which are long since crumbled away, and as everybody ducks inside, you find yourself in what looks to be the ruins of an old temple, though perhaps activity has been going here more recently than you might have expected. The lights are not lit, just ignore that. What do you do?
Take out a torch and say, all right, time to work, and light it up.
Okay. As Anon lights the torch, the light sheds forward and kind of illuminates a rather grisly scene as you see that several humanoid bodies in various states of decay and I don't really know the word for this, but disrepair, having been chewed on.
Gross. Okay.
Yeah. So something has been devouring the dead in here, though the dead are not long dead, based off of the state of decay and smell.
Oh,
Do they have any stuff on them?
Do you want to go and search one of the bodies?
I do.
Okay. As you make your way forward to search one of the bodies, go ahead and give me an investigation check.
Sure.
While he's doing that, I'd like to test something. So they removed the manacles, yes?
Yes.
Okay. So I want to see if I can do like a little bit of prestidigitation just to make like a few little sparks or something.
Yep.
Does it work?
Yes.
Hot
what
dog!
means.
Okay.
Okay. Egg, as you kneel down and are inspecting the closest body, you see like almost all of the lower the lower section. So only the torso is really left. But checking through its clothing, you find just a small knife, which looks more ceremonial than practical, as well as like they have strange tattooing all over their body.
Nothing,
were
no
wearing-
symbols I would recognize.
If there was a tapestry, it's been ruined by their wounds,
Gotcha.
but they are almost tattooed across their entire body. Or at least what you can see.
Okay. Well, I'll take the knife.
Okay. And they have been pretty clearly ripped apart in some spots and then chewed on in others.
Were we given some giant chain like the other groups?
No, nobody asked about it. I guess Annan would have known that you need something to capture it with, but I thought that's why he took the rope.
Well, they
But
were
we
just
can
given the chain last time.
Like we were given everything we have.
Mm.
Yeah.
It would be fair for Annan to point out if any of you guys had leftover spots.
Is like a net a
let's
thing we
see.
could have asked for?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to
Well,
think,
I
like,
can-
if this was a tentacle-y thing, maybe a net would be better than rope, now that I'm thinking about it.
Well, I don't need this. I guess I can give up the oil and the tinderbox for the sake of a net and more rope.
Okay.
So, because obviously he lit the torch just fine without needing a tinderbox. So,
I don't know how he lit the torch.
well, anyway, point being, net,
Magic! No, I don't know.
50 feet of rope, I guess.
I took a
Oh, you-
tinderbox for my nonsense.
Okay,
Okay.
there you go.
I have a net. How big of a net do I have? Is it large enough?
Sure. Let's say it is a large net.
Large net. Okay, got it.
Basically, just call it a capture net.
Okay. Now I'm gonna obviously I don't have any kind of arcane focus or anything like that, so I'm gonna assume that I can only do
Cantrips.
thank you, yes, cantrips, that's the word I was looking for.
Right.
Well,
Okay.
technically anything that doesn't need a material component.
I'm gonna have to go back and look. Let me double check. But continue without me while I double check. But I'm
You
pretty
don't
sure
need
that
it for leveled spells?
I
No,
feel like I
'cause
would.
the focus replaces the material cost for a
Ah.
spell.
I thought it was
Okay.
also how you channeled the power of your arcane spells.
Like slots and things. But we'll get to that if it ends up being relevant, but I'd have to go through the spell list again.
Hey, you shouldn't even need to go through the spell list. You should just be able to look at your character sheet, and any of your spells will tell you.
Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm going through each one.
Yeah, you have to click on the
Yeah, you have
little
to click
dragon
on
head.
it. And then
For
you
it to
have to
tell you.
look.
Okay.
So if it doesn't have a material component, the word is that I can cast it, or are we gonna go with I need the
Hold on.
arcane focus?
Yeah, it's just for material components. So if it only has verbal or somatic, then you're fine.
Okay. That changes things.
Unless you took the material components as your adventuring items.
I don't think they're gonna give me holy water and various things, so
Well, that's
think-
why you say you would ask for a component pouch, which I
All right.
believe is an item.
But then I'd have to ask for
Yes,
all the
it is.
components that go into.
No, it is assumed that when you acquire a component pouch that it comes with components.
Well, if
I can take the net instead of this compass. You're gonna do
no,
that.
I can give up this healing kit. Honestly.
So I took a healing kit, a tinderbox, and a water skin.
Okay. So I can take a component pouch instead of the healer kit. Just wondering, like which components are all in there. So I want to make sure I'm not.
Anything that has a non-gold cost is fine.
Okay.
Which, if anything has a gold cost, then you have to have that anyway. You have to have that regardless of having your spellcasting focus.
You'd have to have gold, is what you mean.
No, you would have
Well,
to have an item
item.
equivalent.
Yeah,
to
so
that
if
worth of
it
gold.
says like a ruby worth 50 gold, you have to have a ruby worth 50 gold to cast that spell.
Sure.
Or if it says you have to have 100 gold worth of like a 100 gold copper bowl, you have to have that. Your spellcasting focus doesn't work. Do you understand?
I think so. Like, for example, for bless, it's just like a little bit of holy water.
Yeah,
since that
that's
doesn't have
part
a
of a
gold
component
cost.
pouch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's literally
His
mainly
components are
because
not
that's flavor
consumed.
stuff, where the
Yeah.
other
Right.
one's a restriction.
Yeah.
Actually, if you guys ever look at the components, a lot of them are hilariously
Yep.
chosen.
Yep. They're pretty good.
Yeah. Like I can't remember what it is. I think it's one of the. I think it's like web. I don't know if it's a web or not, but I think it's a spell like web where the components basically are the ingredients to make glue.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Just like Spider-Man. It's pouring Elmer's into
Yep.
his slot.
All right. Well.
While we have this downtime, I'm gonna walk over to Anon
Uh huh.
and I'm gonna hand you a second quiver.
Thanks. What are you? Sorry. Usually, you need these to use that, and then I'll point out whatever bow you were given.
I don't use a bow, and I'm gonna manifest the gun in my hand.
Okay.
I think I'm starting to see why they were able to find you.
There's always lots of people looking for us.
We had hoped
Fair
there would be
enough.
a few less as of recently, but no such luck.
Fair enough. You can see that I'm kind of like eyeing your gun, just kind of like, I think it's neat. Not like that I'm scared of it, because I've seen some weird shit. So, like, this is more like, oh, that's a new thing. Huh. But yeah, I'll take your quiver and just say thank you.
All right, so this is the part where I'm going to let you guys know that clearly you're here to capture
Mm.
You guys witnessed what happens when you kill it.
Mhm.
So maybe come up with a plan, and that's where we'll get started from.
Okay,
All right,
cool.
let's dig a hole and then
Okay.
cover it with a net.
Did
And then
anyone
cover it
take a
with
shovel?
sticks. No.
So how do we dig a hole in a tile temple floor?
Okay, I attack the ground.
I mean, I did take a hammer for like that reason.
To dig a hole?
Well, no, to like break hard surfaces or try to if we need to. So we could break like or try to break the floor, but I'm guessing it's probably kind of solid stone. Okay.
I'm sorry, was that a question?
No.
Okay.
So rather than dig a hole, we could just
Okay.
put the net above an area and then drop it, which is far easier than trying to lure something across something they can see easily.
Yes.
Sure.
Okay, so first thing, if we're in agreement, this is when, like, you can tell that I've probably hunted or, like, a few times before in my life. So we're going to need to set up a location, find it, draw it with some sort of bait, and then we'll trap it. It might be easier if we wear it down a little bit so it doesn't struggle as much when we do trap it, but we can discuss that when it comes to it. Let's do a quick scout of the area, set up our trap location, and then we can take it from there, unless anybody has any other suggestion.
Oh, that sounds like a plan.
You remind me of my Uncle Mitchellberg. He was an excellent rabbit trapper.
He used to trap rabbits. He still does, but he used to too.
Exactly.
Yep. That's one of my
Mitchellberg.
that's one of my favorite jokes. I love it. It's a good one.
So you guys feel confident in your plan?
Sure, I'm gonna
All
take the lead on the hunter here. He seems to know what he's talking about.
Okay, well, we're going to pause there. We're going to do our 10-minute break. Actually, let's make it 15 so I can feed the dogs and grab a drink and stuff. And then we'll come back and get started from here.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, so